Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for top producers all across the country as we help you become a top producer in your desired market. We are powered on a local level here in Tampa Bay, Florida by Tampa Bay Real Producers, which is our local platform featuring the top 500 producers in Tampa Bay. And as many of you have seen before, we also have our partners of Tampa Bay Real Producers that we bring onto the show to be able to dig in a little bit to their business and tell their stories as well. So today we have a part of that partner series, and that's with none other than Mr. Chris Otto with the Rodent Pros. Dalton O'Hare is actually the owner of the business, and Dalton's been a partner now with us for coming close to a year. I don't think it's been a full year yet, but we signed... it signed Dalton up. I think it was like late 2024, maybe, if I remember correctly. So not quite a year, maybe six months or so now. But Chris is the manager over there. And so we're going to dig in a little bit to the business model that they have, which I think is a cool, interesting model that is, you're really the only partner we have who does the exact services that you provide. So that's kind of cool. So that agents who might want to, connect with you when the need is there, we want to make sure they know a little bit more about what you do.
Absolutely.
And so, Chris, why don't we start a little bit, though? You were telling me off camera about your background. I know this wasn't the first thing that you got into here recently in the Rodent Pros business. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, you did say you grew up here, right?
Yeah,
in Tampa area.
Florida native, grew up out on St. Pete Beach. But I spent the last 16 years in education. Prior to getting involved with the Rodent Pros, I was a special education teacher for 11 years and high school administrator and athletic director after that.
Perfect training to run a rodent business, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you ever think that you'd get into the rodent game?
Never. This all just it's a long story. It happened through some great connections with friends, and here we are.
Yeah. Now, remind me again, how did you meet Dalton?
So Dalton and I met through a mutual friend, and we actually had a funny story. We're both kind of talking to each other during the initial interview, and he looked at me and he goes, "We had Thanksgiving 3 years ago together." And I was like, "No way." And I go, "Wait, we did." And so everything from that point forward, we built our relationship, and it's been progress ever since.
And were you a principal at the time that he approached you about working with him in the business?
No, I had actually left my profession about a month prior. Took some time off to myself, focused on my family.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what I was going to get into after that. But I have a background in construction and remodeling and restoration as well. So that's how we connected. And then he gave me the lowdown on the animal aspect of the company.
Yeah. So what did that pitch sound like that when he initially approached you about working with him in the business?
I showed up wearing some wingtip shoes and I had my shirt tucked in. He was pretty much like, "This guy is just not going to work out." He said, we spent a lot of time under homes, and we spent a lot of time in attics and on roofs.
You're looking a little too pretty, Chris.
And I said, "No, I got this. Let me know where you need me, how you need me, and we're gonna make this work."
Yeah.
And it was really exciting. I was really interested in the animal aspect of the company, and we kind of pulled off each other's strengths, and here we are.
Yeah, makes sense. So has the business been, and you've been there how long again now?
About 6 months now.
Okay. And has it been everything you expected it to be from the get-go?
That and a little bit more.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
so
that and a little more.
Let's dig into that a little bit. I know you mentioned earlier you, Dalton, and then you have another third person as well who actually goes out into the field, right, and does the jobs when needed. But you're also operating some of the actual business itself, right, in terms of the day-to-day flow of the operations. So why don't you just clarify for people who might not know, what is the actual business model that you guys provide? What services, what types of things are you actually doing? What don't you do? Or what should people know?
There hasn't been a whole lot of what we don't do. Every customer has given us a new, not necessarily a challenge, but a new opportunity within our company. What we do is exclusion services. So if you have an issue with rodents, everything from rats to alligators, getting into your home, we provide a service that's going to keep them out. I always tell my customers to say, you don't have a problem with rats, you have a problem with rats getting into your house. And so we provide those exclusion services, and we offer, a 3-year warranty afterwards. But
A 3-year warranty of after you've removed an unwanted guest.
an unwanted guest,
And then you guys come and do your business. You remove that guest, and then you provide a 3-year warranty that they won't have another guest over the next 3 years.
yeah, another guest of that
That's
same
interesting.
species or anything afterwards.
How can you warranty that? Is that like specific deterrent steps that you're putting into place to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, that comes in place when we do the exclusion services. So we're blocking out anything from getting into your home.
Interesting. So if I'm hearing you correctly, part of your business model or a lot of your business model is actually creating like a deterrent type service, right?
Yeah. So
Now, do people reach out to you in advance? It's like where they don't even have an unwanted guest at all, but they're just wanting to prepare to not have them. Is that a big part of your business?
absolutely. So someone might hear something and we come out to the property, we do the inspection. They might not have a current problem, but we can spot out where those main entry points are, potential entry points, and just general steps they can take to prevent any future intrusion in their home.
It's interesting. So what percentage of your business, if you know this, Chris, is just dealing with an urgent issue, right? An unwanted guest is what we keep calling it, compared to the preparation service that you just laid out. What's that number? What's that ratio look like?
I would say that 90% of it is an emergency.
Right.
So we hear something,
sense.
we see something, we have evidence of an unwanted guest, and we put in remediation immediately. Another 10%.
So that's kind of part of the package
yeah.
that you're selling, is that you're not only going to remove the unwanted guest, you're going to put some steps into place so that, again, it could be warranted for 3 years and not happen again.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of unique, right? I don't think is that common in your industry?
No, we are the only company that offers a 3-year warranty. I mean, our warranty is half a paragraph long. We don't believe in, the technicalities within a warranty. Another thing that's good with our warranty is it's transferable. So a lot of people will want to have the services done, but then, what happens if they sell the house, or what happens, again, if we're working with a realtor, they sell the house and someone else picks up and they have an issue.
Yeah.
So our warranty is transferable, and it covers everything. So initially you might have an issue with rats, but then
So the warranty's on the property, not on the individual.
exactly.
I gotcha. Interesting. What's the most common thing that you get called for?
Most common thing we get called for is rats. Sometimes
In
they
the
think
attic?
rats in the attic, rats below the house, rats in the walls, in the plumbing. But then 6 months down the road, they might have an issue with a squirrel, or they might have an issue with raccoons. So when we do the exclusion, yes, we're excluding for rats, but we're also excluding for any potential species to get into your home.
Okay. And so you mentioned earlier rats. You said even gators. I mean, that has to happen every now and again, right? In Florida, you would think.
Not often, but it does.
Right. You get the call with the gators in my swimming pool.
Yeah, I've got a gator who's got an eye on my, my small dog, and,
Right.
and we want to keep the dog. So
Yep.
call us out for the gator. We'll remove it, and
I'm sure
relocate
snakes
it.
too is another fairly common one.
Gators, snakes. During the winter time, you're going to find a lot of problems with squirrels.
Okay.
Squirrels and rats, that occupies a lot of our time during the colder months. And then as things get warmer and some of your reptiles come out, then that's when those calls come in. We actually had a funny call a few weeks ago where flying squirrels were coming out of the kitchen cabinets.
Really?
And so this woman had, flying squirrels that were coming out of her kitchen cabinets. We had to locate it, find out how to remediate the issue, and then make sure that they didn't have any future problems with those
Flying squirrels flying out of their kitchen cabinets. How does that
flying
even
squirrels. They were coming out, but then
How were they getting in there?
They were coming in through the exterior, but usually what happens is there's a small point of entry, and then that's when they come in, and then they say, "Hey, we're good. Come on, let's bring our family." And
We
You know,
found a new home. It's pretty
we
cozy.
found it. We found a new home.
I found a place to eat.
Absolutely.
We only had to eat at night
that's
when
all they
everybody's
need.
lights are off, everyone's in bed. It's time for the squirrels to dive in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's wild. My kids do like the movie Ratatouille, the Disney flick, so I guess there's just a little bit of that going on, huh?
Yeah, but they're not cooking in the kitchen. Usually they're just creating a lot of
Right.
lot of problems for the family.
All right, I get that. It makes sense. What's the craziest thing that you've had a call for?
More recently, I pulled a 30-pound bobcat from underneath a home.
Wow.
Since deceased, but we've gotten calls for bats.
How did they know he was there?
They smelled them.
They smelled him. Gotcha.
They smelled them.
Gotcha.
And so, we go in and we locate where the problem is. A lot of times we've got this awful smell or we have this awful sound and we don't know what's going on.
Right.
And so we'll go in and we'll locate it. But then that's when we're able to have those conversations with our customers and say, hey, we got it out, but this is how they're getting in. Let us take care of the problem, because now that you've identified that something can get in, more than likely,
It's going to happen again.
It's going to happen again
Yeah.
until you exclude the property and find out, what do we need to do to deter this from happening?
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. I get that. Where do you get most of your business from? I know you guys said you get a lot from agents, from realtors, which is part of why you guys are partners with us. I'm assuming you also just get like people Googling you when there's a need, right?
Yeah. So Google is definitely where we get a lot of our calls from. So, it's 3:00 in the morning and you hear something in your house and you go on Google and you find out, how am I going to get rid of this animal?
Sure.
So we pop up on Google. We're the only company with a 5-star review.
That's cool.
That's been continuously running.
That means something nowadays.
Absolutely. And when you go on, you see our reviews. And what's cool about our company is when you call us and you see reviews for Chris or Dalton, we're the ones taking the calls.
Okay.
You don't really work with many companies where when you call, you're speaking to the people you hear about all the time.
Right.
And when you call us, we're also the ones who are coming out, and we're also the ones doing the work.
Gotcha.
Which is not common for a lot of companies. A lot of times you get a hold of a call center and they'll send someone out, and that person may come out in 3 or 4 days, whereas we're coming out right away.
Yeah.
You get our cell phone number, you text us, call us, and you're going to work with us from the initial inspection all the way to the time where we say, hey, see you later.
And typically, I mean, with most of these situations, you're able to kind of remove the unwanted guests right away in the first visit. It's not like a process, or is it?
So there is a process. There's a process with rats mostly.
Yeah.
Where, we've got to trap them and remove them. But a lot of times if it's raccoons or something larger, we're able to come in and usually remediate within a couple days.
Okay.
And then we put in a plan for each of our customers, which is, how do we prevent them from coming in the future?
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we do afterwards to make sure that there's no issue with another species, down the road. Yeah.
Stop the deterrence factor we discussed there. For people who might be curious, what happens to the animals that you catch? Where do they go?
So, it depends on what we're working with. But the only animals that we kill are mice and small rodents.
Yeah.
Everything else is trapped and humanely relocated to another area.
Okay.
So if
there's like a gator park or something, you guys drop them all off at?
Yeah. So if let's say we have squirrels and raccoons, or let's just use squirrels as an example. When they get into your property, they've kind of decided that this is our domicile. This is where we're staying.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to remove an animal successfully, you have to remove them and take them across the county, take them to an area where they're not going to be able to travel back to your home.
Right. You can't just drop them around the corner. They're going to make their way back.
Absolutely. So they have a lot of ways for them, for their friends, and for everybody else to kind of come back.
Right.
And that's through
They're sending all the signals.
Yeah, it's, so they leave tracking, pheromones, and evidence that this is an area I can get in easily,
Right.
and so can all my friends.
Right.
And so maybe today you've got rats, but 6 months down the road, you're going to have squirrels coming into your property.
It's an all-out rodent party up in there.
It's an all-out party.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. It makes sense. Going back to your relationship with realtors for a second, do you know what percentage of your business would you say comes from your agent relationships today?
Right now, I say we probably have about 30% of our business is coming from realtors, and that communication from, their partners, their friends.
Yep.
So when we go in and we do the initial service, we're also providing services with our partners, and that's going to be, I'm trying to figure out. When we come in, the initial problem might be rodents. But more recently, we have been providing services with insulation, services for plumbing, services for HVAC. So we've had an opportunity to make those partners. When we come in, we're not only doing the removal, but we're also doing the remediation for think of it kind of like a one-stop shop.
Okay.
So
remediation for future occurrences happening.
Future occurrences. But when we come in, we're not just rodents. We're also going to be able to give you an opportunity to work with a plumber, to work with someone who's going to
prep the house.
But
so just to be clear, are you talking about when you're working with an agent, is this generally on the buyer side? So like someone's buying a home, maybe the home has been vacant for a while, right? Which I know I told you off camera, it's kind of happened to me. And then when that new family moves in, that's when they hear some things, or there's some situations that occur once that has taken place. Or do you find that it's the opposite, where it's like an agent working with somebody who's listing a property, something is found during that listing process, and you come in? Where usually in the flow does the agent connect with you guys? Do you know?
So usually they've been told that there's a problem with rodents. We come in and we're able to remediate that issue so that the property can be sold.
Yeah.
So
it's someone with a listing generally who's talking to the agent, telling them, "Hey, we want to sell this house. You're going to be our agent, but I know we know we got this issue here, right?" And so the agent obviously wants to do everything in their power to make sure the house sells for maximum dollar, and that's where you can come in, is making sure that everything is ready for sale.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's not something where, we've got months to work on this problem.
No, for sure. They want to sell it now.
They want to close, and when they close, they want to be sure that, not only are we taking care of the initial problem, but any future problems that family may have.
Yeah. So when you said earlier that you also would get a plumber and some of these other, I'm assuming like vendor partners, right? That you're referring to. What did you mean by that? Is that when you come, you're bringing that, if there's a need for that, you're just bringing that connection with you? Is that what you meant?
Well, a lot of times when we come into a home and we're doing our inspection, it's not just how do we keep them out, but it's also hey, while I'm up in your attic, I've also noticed that, these animals have got into your HVAC system
Hmm.
and they've caused a lot of damage.
Okay.
I've got a guy who does HVAC. So once we've taken care of this issue, he's able to come in and then take care of the HVAC
Yep,
issues.
that makes sense.
Not only
These are
that,
kind of
though,
like vendor partners with you guys, or are they part of your company?
they're not part of our company, but over the years, a lot of relationships have been
Sure,
made
vendor partners.
where,
Yeah, makes
you're
sense.
vendor partners.
Yeah.
So, whereas when you're trying to sell a home, we can coordinate all of those things for you.
Hmm.
It's really hard for somebody to get on the phone and say, I need this done today, but I'm also going to need somebody who can come in and once the rodents are removed from the property, then we need insulation. We need new insulation. So we coordinate all of that.
Okay.
The realtors aren't going to get on the phone after we've taken care of their problem and then find someone else to do insulation, or then find someone else who's going to be able to come in, do the smoke test on the properties to make sure that all of your plumbing is intact.
Hmm.
So when that happens, we coordinate everything.
Okay.
And you're not going to wait until we're out of the picture before then getting a hold of somebody who's going to be able to take care of all the other issues. So
Yeah,
when
that
you
makes
call
sense.
us, it's
So
kind
it's a
of,
matter of convenience too for the agent, right?
it really is.
Because they
And
know they can work with you not just on the removal, the immediate removal of the problem, but I would imagine a lot of times when there is that problem, there's reciprocal damage, right, that was
of
created,
course,
and the ability to fix that is needed in order to sell the house the way you'd want to sell it and have a past inspection, right?
absolutely.
Do you guys, I know I asked you this off camera, but just to clarify, do you guys work at all directly with the home inspection companies or not much?
Not much with the home inspection companies. A lot of times they're going to go through and they're going to say, hey, these are the issues that you have with your property.
Yep.
You're not only going to need to get rid of the pest, you're also going to need to remove all of your old insulation, have new insulation put in. And then, if your HVAC system's been damaged, now you're going to have to coordinate with someone who's going to be able to come in after remediation and then take care of that. So, a recent problem that I had with a client, they had their HVAC done. There was leaking in the bedroom where the HVAC company, they weren't going to touch it.
Mm.
They said, we can't come back out until this problem is resolved
Because the damage was caused by rodents?
because there was evidence of rodents.
I gotcha.
So when I came out, I was able to go, okay, well, I see what the HVAC company is saying, but there's no current activity in your home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to write a report after my inspection and say, yes, there may have been past rodent issues, but there's no current activity.
Yep.
I can write this off as, hey, come on in, do the work you need to do, because what you may have seen isn't something that
Right, you're passing the report basically on as a professional opinion. So I get that. That makes sense. You mentioned too before, Chris, the concept that moving forward, you guys are already, I guess, provide some renovation services when there's a need for that. But that seems like it's going to be a big focus, right, of the company moving forward here is having like a renovation arm of the business. Is that true?
Yeah. So, looking at the restoration after something has happened
Sure.
within the company. So, we have the Rodent Pros, but then, the idea being afterwards, who's going to do the restoration services? So,
Yep.
everybody in our company has a background in construction.
Okay.
So if I bring someone in, I'm bringing someone in who's got a strong construction background. I can teach them everything they need to know about the animals, about the biology of, why are they coming into our property and how are they getting in. And so we get to teach the guys about trapping, about recognizing, different species that are in the house. And then, being able to take care of a property and,
Sure.
make sure that
It's ready to rock and roll.
it's ready to rock and roll.
And so commonly, is that like kind of repairing drywall? Is that the biggest part of your restoration, or are there other things that are more common than that?
So repairing drywall, repairing ceilings, but also doing the sanitation services. So,
Okay.
when everything is said and done, you want to make sure that, there's nothing left behind
Right.
from those unwanted guests.
Right.
So we do clean outs. We do,
Do you guys deal with mold? Do you? So, is that a different license needed for mold remediation?
there is a process in mold remediation, but it's not a different license. So,
Okay.
if your home needs an ozone treatment, or if you have water damage from the hurricanes, so more recently, what happened was, I had a customer call, and we're following up on the warranty after the hurricanes. A lot of our customers weren't really concerned about the rats. They
Yeah.
were concerned about the tree that fell through the roof.
Something to be concerned about.
We build strong relationships with our community, with our partners. We do a lot of, I don't want to call it charity work, but, last week, about an hour before church service, woman calls. She goes, "I got a sermon starting in an hour. I have a possum trapped in the woman's bathroom. We need this possum out immediately."
Mhm.
So Dalton and I, we drive out there. Sure enough, possum's hanging out in the bathroom. We get the possum out. Lady's like, "What can I do for you? Can I make you a plate of food? Do you want to stay for the service? Do you want to stay?" And for us, it was like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of this problem, but then
Use this next time.
use this next time.
Right.
Talk about your friend. Talk to us about your friends.
Yeah, it's a smart. Makes a lot of sense. We teach a lot of agent coaching within our online community called Top Producers Nation, and one of the big components of our model is leading with value. Right?
Yeah.
Value first, and sometimes that means doing some stuff for free that you're not going to get immediately paid for, but because you are now establishing that relationship and your brand, it leads to. There's countless stories of people who, because of that act, you never know where that's going to go, right? And it really does go a long way, especially in business. So I agree with that philosophy. It makes sense. So cool, man. So it sounds like we covered a lot of things from soup to nuts in terms of like what the services are, right? That you guys bring to the table that agents should be aware of. How I don't know if you might know this or not, but like, how do you generally connect the real estate agents? Do you guys do any sort of like campaigns where you're going to their offices? Do you do any like classes? Do you do any sort of lunch and learns, or has it just been very organic, whoever gets referred to you?
A lot of our business has been organic. So we're not out there campaigning for the Rodent Pros.
Sure.
Usually with the realtors, we get calls. Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard. That's a hard question to answer.
Well, you guys do a good job, and then they tell their friends about it, basically. Is that what it boils down to?
Mhm.
Yeah. And so if an agent on a team uses you, it goes well, they're most likely going to tell other agents as well.
We would hope so.
Within the office. Is that how you've gained the agents you've worked with now? Do
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So for people, again, who might not know you personally at all, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, just talk a little bit about you so that people can get to know you a little bit more, since you might be the one crawling in their attic.
Yeah.
Get removing the unwanted guest. So you said you grew up in Tampa. You mentioned your family earlier. Do you have kids? Married? What's your story there?
Oh gosh, no. So I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter.
Okay.
But I am a single father.
Okay.
When I was working for the school system, I thought, this is going to be something great. I'm going to be off with my daughter during spring break, during the summer, during the
Right.
winter holidays.
All this free time.
And it didn't really work out to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so how am I going to be able to support my family? And, now working with Dalton, I'm able to drop my daughter off at school every day.
That's nice.
And then I can take off and go take care of the clients that I have for the day. And, even things like this. Hey,
For sure.
if I was teaching, I wouldn't be able to,
Right. Spend a Friday afternoon with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. What do you guys love to do for fun when you and your daughter get to hang out?
We're hanging out. We're doing a little bit of everything. So we work out. We go to the beach. We do the things that,
You think she's going to want to follow you in the pest business? The rodent removal business? Future rodent pro on your hands there?
Well, hopefully not.
You have different plans for her?
Different plans for her. But no, when we go out to calls, more recently we had a raccoon in an attic at a tire company just up the road. Got the raccoon out. Raccoon took, 3 of the babies, but it left one behind.
Okay.
And, we can let Mother Nature take its course. But this was an opportunity for me to say, all right, well, if I leave this animal here, it's going to die.
Yeah.
Or I could take it home. Let my daughter bottle feed this baby raccoon. So
she's probably got some pretty interesting pets at home by now, huh?
They don't stay for long. They don't stay for long.
That's funny. My daughter, who just turned 11, I think she might want to be a vet one day. She loves animals. And she wanted a cat for her birthday, which she didn't get yet. But she wanted another. We already have 1 cat and 2 dogs. She wants another cat. And so I could see her, if I was in a business like you're in, she'd be wanting me to bring home every animal that we captured,
Well,
creating a zoo at our house.
Yeah, and so, you kind of got to pump the brakes on that every so often.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But what's really fun is, on our way to school, so I take this raccoon home. Eyes aren't open. And so we have to bottle feed it. We have to take care of it. So my daughter, she's got this little bed with stuffing in it. And, she feeds it. She puts it down. And then on our way to school, this thing's got to stay with me all day long.
Yeah.
Because they need to be fed every 3 hours. So as we're going through Starbucks, my daughter's to the right. She's feeding a raccoon. The girls in Starbucks are going crazy because they're like, oh, my God, what do you got there?
A baby raccoon. You don't see them out and about that often.
And so we're kind of, more or less a team. Obviously, I'm not putting her in attics and on roofs, but... she gets to do.
We don't need to call child services here. It's all good.
Yeah, the more nurturing part of the program. And so when it comes to rehabilitating animals and being able to, give them an opportunity at life.
She's got that compassionate side to her, huh?
Absolutely.
I get that. You mentioned too earlier, Chris, that you guys are looking to possibly expand to Orlando and some other markets. I know most of your work, if all of your work right now, is Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah, so we cover all of Hillsborough and Pinellas. We do have jobs in Pasco as well.
Okay.
With the Rodent Pros, we hope to be able to have a sister company. We've come in, take care of the pest, but now we're going to do all the restoration you need for the home.
Okay.
And then eventually move off to Orlando. Right now we're taking care of Pinellas, Hillsborough, but with business being as busy as it has, I would love to see Orlando.
Yeah. And then that's when hiring more and scaling your organization could come into play.
Absolutely.
So that makes sense as well, for sure. And there are agents that we have even in this network who also serve that market, right? Orlando and Sarasota, Bradenton, and stuff of that nature. So it's always good to know when they can work with a partner that could potentially work with them in multiple markets, right? across the state, if not, in some cases even more than that. All right, a couple of rapid fire questions. All right, as we put a bow here on the episode for you. Again, this is more revolving around trying to get people to know you a little bit more. So, do you have a favorite book, author, maybe a seminar that you've ever gone to, or even like a podcast that you love to listen to that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally?
That's a difficult question. So my life has always revolved around, being the best dad that I can be, being the best father I can be. For me, when
No book come to mind?
nothing comes to mind. That's horrible. That is horrible.
Hey, I can give you some good book referrals about dads, by the way. That's something I've definitely been into lately myself.
So it's been, it's been school. It's been work. When I was a single dad at home, I thought, well, this is fun, but what can I do to support my family? What can I do to be able to give my daughter the best life possible? So I went back to school. I got a master's in ed leadership, went up the scale, or,
that was the whole education side, right?
that was it,
You missed that business at all? You missed that side of the world at all? Or you like being in this entrepreneurial side that you're in now?
I really enjoy this. The animals don't, curse me out.
Sure.
They don't.
You don't got parents yelling at you necessarily. Maybe some homeowners every now and again, but
it's nice. In this company, I've had an opportunity to meet so many people and build so many relationships. We work with professional athletes. We work with lawyers. We work with teachers. We work with everybody.
Sure.
And when we are, traveling through Tampa Bay, there's a lot of opportunity for us to have small talk, here and there. But when you work with a homeowner and you're invited to their home, you get to see a different side of them. You get to build relationships with them. You have an opportunity to see people in their most vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
And that's been something that's really, really opened my eyes, to our community. With all the people.
What part of Tampa did you say you grew up in?
I grew up in Pinellas.
You did? Okay.
I grew up out in St. Petersburg. But I can tell you one thing. This community, with all the people I get to work with, there are more good people than there aren't. I have got to meet amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm
a fan of Tampa Bay for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Work with great people all the time. Work with realtors. Work with people who have jobs that I'm still not sure what they do. Mm-hmm. But, being out here, it's been a blessing. Those relationships.
And it sounds like the business has been growing too. So that's always a bonus as well.
Business is growing. Business is doing great. We are busy all the time.
One more rapid fire question. Do you have a book, or not a book, a movie or TV show that's a favorite?
Movie or TV show? Daughter's on YouTube all the time. Oh, God. What did I just
taking up all the bandwidth, huh?
Yeah, she's taking up everything. What did I watch recently that I really liked? Man, I'm not giving.
You really
the
are
audience,
working too much, aren't you?
I'm not giving the audience a whole lot.
You're just working too much, aren't you? All right, well, we're gonna put a bow on the episode here for you,
all
Chris. Right. And what I do want to make sure we throw out there is if an agent or anyone really who has a need to remove an unwanted guest or something else that we discussed here today wants to connect with you, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Give us a call.
Okay.
We have 2 locations. We have Clearwater. We have Tampa. Either number is going to give you myself or Dalton, and call us, text us.
Cool. Just find it on Google, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just Google the Rodent Pros.
The Rodent Pros.
And look for the 5-star reviews.
Absolutely.
And then the website is?
therodentprofessionals.com.
therodentprofessionals.com. There you go. So as we've talked about, as we put a bow on the episode, we always try to make sure we end with a challenge to the audience. And whether you're watching the live stream on YouTube or any of our other platforms, we're in about 15 different podcast platforms. What is one action step that you can maybe take from our conversation today with Chris? This is, like I said earlier, really the first time that we've had your industry even represented, right, on the show. So that, to me, is a cool thing. There's an added layer of value there, because most of the top producing agents that I'm aware of want to have as many good preferred partners in your vendor list as you can potentially have. And of course, there's always going to be situations that arise when there's a need for removal of an unwanted guest. Now you have a go-to partner in the Rodent Pros that you can reach out to, who will not only serve that need, but also provide other value-add services that we already discussed on this show. So maybe there was something that was, sparked your interest today. You have to have a follow-up conversation with Chris or with Dalton or with the team that you can reach out to them on the website. Maybe you're somebody who just, something that Chris might have went into detail that you didn't even know was part of their business model, sparked a question or two for you that you want to follow up with. But whatever it might be, maybe you just need to do a little bit more research on all the different things that happen out there if you're a newer agent, and be prepared, because you just never really know what might happen and occur, and you want to be able to always have the answers, right, when you're serving your clients in the market. So we have vetted partners within our platform of Tampa Bay Real Producers to help you provide the best service possible for every single client that you can have, and you can find all them, including the Rodent Pros, at tampabayrealproducers.com/partners, and you will see all of our local partners to help you in growing your business and making sure that you provide the best service that you can. So we will close the episode with that call to action. Once again, as a reminder, you can check us out at topproducersnation.com. If you're an agent out there who is committed to being a top producer in your desired market, wherever that market may be, you can see our online resources, including coaching. We have weekly coaching calls. We have a course that's online. We have a done-for-you service to help you build your brand. All of that is you can do that and find that at topproducersnation.com, which will lead you to our online community that you can also have shared resources with. So we will see you on the next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. See you there.